Hi guys, welcome to the video. So today we have another game between Makrozerk and Suvak in Armies of Exigo. It will be on the map Inner Sanctum, and it's a 1v1 with Makrozerk playing as Empire and Suvak playing as Fallen. So let's unpause it. In the bottom left corner we have Makrozerk with the blue color and the Empire race, as I said, and Suvak with the top left corner position and yellow color Fallen. So this might be interesting. Of course, a really big map, a natural expansion right in front of your base, really easily defendable by one narrow entrance. So this is really good. Of course, I'm expecting Suvak to go for immediate expansion, which it looks like for now because he's on the top side of this entrance, but now he's moving to the bottom, so he actually decided to swap here. Maybe that was the plan for the expansion immediately, then he changed his mind, or he just plays his summoner here and then moved towards the bottom, but never mind, he's just going for a deformer, so front base, going for probably a double hive, maybe a tower, or just some stingers and then expansion. We will see, but for now it looks like some early stingers, definitely for sure before the expansion. On the other side we have Makrozerk going for the standard barracks into a farm, probably a tower behind it, then expansion. I mean, we have an alternative as well for an Empire opening where you go for double barracks and then a farm. Of course, that's a little bit slower in terms of the time when you get your units out and also when you can make a tower, but at the same time you will have two barracks finished at the exact same moment, and then you can immediately start producing double swordsmen. So and also overall you should have a little bit better resources, I think. But yeah, the little bit later first swordsman might be a problem in certain matchups, so this is usually the favorable build order. And now he didn't even invest into the second barracks yet, he's just going immediately for the tower, saving the resources there. Still making one swordsman and scouting with a peasant, but going for the expansion as soon as possible. Suvak didn't even worry about anything here, he just made a deformer into hive and then a dark fortress. Yeah, so no second hive, no lightning spire, nothing special, just going for the expansion. And this is basically unpushable for Makrozerk, yeah? Because there is already a tower being placed down, he already has the stinger production, and also the unholy ground here to heal his stingers if needed. And the expansion is already 50%, so Makrozerk cannot really push this anymore. If it would be immediate, now the hives wouldn't be finished yet, or maybe now they would like finish. But oh, this is interesting choice. Suvak removed his tower. Not sure if he needed the resources for something or if that was a misclick, but he deleted his tower. But yeah, of course, now we see Makrozerk also going for the expansion and actually incubator here. I mean, that's really interesting. I of course like to place incubator in this location. You could also place it down here, but that's too far away. But here you have it right next to your trees, and you will have a little bit faster wood income. Placing it here, I don't see much value in that. Of course, you can gather these trees, which can be valuable. Maybe he wants to have a little bit more space in this location, but you will have harvesters in kind of vulnerable positions, so I'm not too sure if that is what you want. 11th century also kind of soon. I guess Makrozerk wants to scout early on. But the expansion of Suvak is already working, getting some first harvesters there. The problem I see here is that, first of all, there should have been the tower that is nicely protected then. And also you usually want to have this place that is the most in the front for the production buildings, so you can pump out the units. These buildings that just are there for upgrades and other stuff you can have in the back. But yeah, I guess if he wants to take out these trees, it could be also efficient. Taking down the tower is probably fine, because he knows that Makrozerk won't try to push into this, and now he's going for an expansion as well, so Suvak has the time to play this without the tower for a while. I still like to have the tower there even in the mid game. Of course, one tower in the late game won't do much, but it's decent for the first few minutes, even if they don't rush you. But I guess he saved some resources on that. Now he can invest them into more harvesters. Going for a control form here. That might slow down the gold income here by like half a second or something, by the harvester going around it, but yeah, won't have too much of an influence. Maybe he will actually remove this later and build a tower there, then he will move it, we'll see. Improve metabolism, so he's definitely planning for some spitters, he already has one, plus 2 stingers, and third one scouting around the map. And Makrozerk actually not going for a phoenix, he actually went for a dryad, and he placed down an eye of forest. Eye of the forest is really hard to detect for Fallen or any invisible units, because you have to either get seekers, for which you need the cocoon, Valkakun, for which you of course need incubator, which he has, but he doesn't have Valkakun yet. And if you go the other route, let's say, and you go for Soul Trap, then you have to get the dimensional gate and then make an aerial, which is a transportation unit that can also reveal invisible units. Those are the only two options. You also don't have to use the Seeker like straight up by walking him here or digging. You can also just infest one of your units, then it will also see invisible units. But outside of that, it's really hard to detect this. Even Avengers that are a siege unit can't attack ground as other siege units. So this Eye of the Forest will just stay here unless Macrozerg probably goes for Seekers. I don't really see anyone using aerials for scouting anyways, so it's all about getting a Seeker, but he's going for many hives, so we don't even see the Soul Trap yet, so I think there is a high probability that he will make the Valkakun soon as well. Svak is also getting a third base now, also scouting here, so Macrozerg doesn't have too many options, everything is scouted, he can't really expand anywhere, he's kinda locked in here. He's getting catapults, which are strong to fight back the hive spitters, but of course he needs to somehow create some pressure as well soon. But yeah, he's just kind of walking around the map, placing down the flowers, getting lots of vision. He will also scout this expansion. I didn't even realize that giraffes are so fast. He's actually faster than the Stinger, or like same speed. Maybe a little bit slower, but basically same speed. Greedy. Yeah, he saw the expansion, of course. Spitters prepared here on the side. There is the Stinger. Yeah, I think he wanted to walk away from the vision of the flower, so he's not getting scouted. And Macrozerg doesn't know how big of the army he has, but this is nice. Macrozerg actually got into the base of Suvak. He's just not able to take him down for some reason. Giraffes don't have any extra armor against Pike, but they just have 150 HP, which is not much, but it's enough to survive many hits from the Stingers, and now he will fall. But he placed the flower in the middle of the base of Macrozerg, plus lots of other flowers around the map, so yeah, I think both players now have pretty decent vision. 2 catapults already there for Macrozerg, plus 4 priests and 4 swordsmen. But now the spitters are coming, there is only 7 of them, but more are coming, also some Stingers. So he's now mixing it together, trying to get a combination of everything, but against the catapults he can't do much. But he's still 20 population ahead, now he spent some extra resources. Lots of messages now here, yeah, looks like they stopped the game there. So that doesn't really affect the replay in any way for us. This spitter might kill this swordsman. Swordsman actually already 2 damage upgrades. That's a huge value for Macrozerg if we can get in the range of the enemy. He's also getting some pikemen now and elf rangers. And he's also getting some more upgrades there. 1 for damage for archers and then also finally some upgrade for the melee units armor. Swag is staying on 1 and 1 in terms of upgrades. 1 for damage, 1 for armor for both Stingers and Spitters. Not getting any more upgrades now, but he also has the improved metabolism for high Spitters. I don't know if he has insect haste for movement speed for Stingers, but most likely not. Now he's getting a Soul Trap and another hive. Yeah, so no Valkakun, just 4 hives into a Soul Trap, and now third base is starting to nicely work, but nice push from, I mean, Suak tried to push, but Macrozerg quickly pushed him back. He used the catapult there for some nice pressure. Fortunately lost 1 pikeman there. Now he's setting up a front tower for some extra protection, because towers can be pretty dangerous for Fallen. Once again, the siege units are hard to get to and not usually favorable in these stages of the game, and Macrozerg immediately utilizing this advantage of gaining the map control on this part of the map and placing now the expansion. And this is of course the vision of Macrozerg, so Suak doesn't really know about this yet, but he's kind of predicting it, immediately coming here with his army, or maybe he wants to take down this if there is an expansion. This is of course not fully valuable because there is it's not full value because there is no gems mine, it's only gold. So the expansion of Suak is still better, and he's already gathering there for a decent amount of time, but he's actually not getting any gems there, so it doesn't even matter that much. Suak is not really using any gems, so doesn't seem like he wants to invest into this. But of course he's immediately getting another expansion as well, trying to stay on that advantage of having 1 extra base, because now Macrozerg has to defend this, and that means he cannot really push any expansions of Macrozerg of Suak now, so that's definitely really good for Suak. He also still has more resources, more population, trying to stay ahead even though the difference is not that big anymore. Deformer is another way of scouting invisible things. Of course, it's not movable, so using it here wouldn't be that easy, even though he had control of this place for quite some time, so he could have created a front base there, maybe even with some towers, but here of course the Reformer was enough, and he also now got finally the Seekers, so he actually made the Valkyrie in this base. We haven't seen that before. Lots of towers on his expansion, but Makrozerg is not even scouting. He is trying to take control of this, but here's the flowers from on some places. Actually, even this one is still here with 50% summon time remaining. But mostly the scouting power here is for Suvak, who is now also getting flying stingers, maybe going for some job harassment. Also he has 2 vengeance halls in his main base, getting Champion of the Avengers. So okay, so he's actually going for the siege units here. Kind of figured out that Makrozerg will try to play it heavily on towers, and without the siege units it won't be really possible to do anything to that. Stingers are coming, no protection from Makrozerg there in terms of any towers or anything. He made lots of towers in the other bases, definitely. He's getting more Dryads, also no Phoenixes for now, which are definitely also good for scouting. And the Stingers are actually going for the very main base. Nice push from Makrozerg here, lots of pikemen, but the catapults are slow, so if Suvak can get far away from them, he can maybe turn around, do some damage, but now there is a Stinger drop. He doesn't need to fight the main army. He needs to harass the economy, which he is doing, but now he's falling basically the same population as Makrozerg. Resources are pretty balanced. Of course, he has the towers here, which will be really useful against the pikemen here, but once the catapults come as well, Makrozerg will have a little bit bigger problem. These Stingers dealt some damage, but I think most of the peasants just escaped. Also now there is an army of some units of Makrozerg trying to take down these Stingers pretty rapidly. Makrozerg now accumulating his army in this location in front of the expansion of Suvak, but he saw lots of towers there, so looks like he will maybe decide to go in another direction. But there was a Stinger as well. They scouted the movement of Makrozerg, and Suvak now finally having first 2 Avengers, so trying to create some stronger army there. With some more diversification, and he's actually moving to the sides, trying to maybe surround Makrozerg from multiple sides. That could be also really effective. Some Stingers dropping here, but towers are already finished, so Makrozerg nicely protecting all of his bases from the harassment of the Fallen, and now he is 11 population ahead, more resources in terms of gold at least. Gems of course still behind, but his Empire of course he's using all of his gems. And I think Suvak will now also quickly run out of gems after creating all of these Avengers. But Suvak still has lots of resources, he needs to spend them on something immediately, gain some value, because the population is still basically the same. His towers are falling down to these catapults. He doesn't have much to actually counter it with. He has just few spitters here with 1 and 1 upgrades, trying another expansion that will get stopped immediately. Now he's trying some push here, but his second army is not there. He needs to time this perfectly for it to work, but actually Makrozerg is getting pretty distracted. His army is not in the best position. He's kinda not formed, I would say. He's leaving only a few units in the back, which will of course die to these spitters pretty quickly, and now he might lose these catapults if the spitters can get there in time, but he's going for an insane push, quickly pushing into the enemy base, getting the pikemen there with the insane movement speed that you get with the elixirs of strength, getting onto the Avengers immediately, taking them down. And now he's in the base of Suvak, who is falling short by 30 population now. His second army is just standing there in the middle of the map. He's not getting much value here, producing some units desperately, but doesn't even seem like he has grasp maybe, or he didn't use it. But I don't see much value remaining in his army. Everything is falling apart. He doesn't have more resources. He's 50 population behind. His units are stuck here in one place, so getting splashed down by the catapults while not getting any damage out. And I am afraid this will be probably the end of Suvak. Makrozerg is also expanding at the same time on multiple places. The main base of Suvak will now also fall. He didn't have many towers here, he actually cancelled this one. I'm not sure if he even had a single tower here, maybe some on the villagers, but maybe he had 0 towers in this location, or maybe 1 was here, I'm not sure. But overall he made lots of towers in this location, but the swap of Makrozerg was definitely the right move, and it totally dissolved the dominance of Suvak's control of the map and everything, so nice move there from Makrozerg. Now he will quickly finish the whole base of Suvak. He's still trying to produce some units here, but yeah, he calls it GG. And I believe now he will surrender. So yeah, Makrozerg was victorious. Pretty nice game, Let's check the results. It was 19 minutes, so definitely pretty interesting. 104 kills for Makrozerg, only 38 units lost. 39 kills by Suvak and 105 lost units, so that was pretty nice. Looks like he actually killed one of his units probably. Largest army for Makrozerk as well. He got 10,000 experience. That's a lot. Not even 3,000 for Suvak, so his units were also kinda underperforming in raw power, and also research is 15 for Makrozerk, only 6 for Suvak. Also way less buildings. He didn't even destroy any structures, and the resources are basically perfectly balanced. Yeah, so Suvak produced a little bit more units, but the power of the units from the upgrades and the experience, I think, was way more valuable here. And Makrozerk then, even with a bigger army at one moment, was able to easily push through the forces of Suvak and finish him before the 20 minutes mark. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this game, and I will see you in the next one. So take care, guys.